Telescope here, what do you see?
We're at the Sweet 16, but really the story is the ACC, Pat. 4 teams, 1 in each of the regions right now, so you could have an ACC Final Four. But again, the storyline remains with Duke. Can anybody beat Duke? Tough game tonight, maybe one of the tougher ones they'll face in the tournament.
And P.J. Carlesimo said this is the game we want to be able to knock off the champions. Does he want this game?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's the way Walker plays. That's the key. Can he get 12 free throws? That's a big thing. Can he make those inside passes,
Where'd you
Michael?
coach?
He didn't ask me for my game plan, by the way.
Coming up in just a few moments, fellas, we'll be going down to Philadelphia, where the University of Massachusetts takes on the University of Kentucky in the first East Regional semifinal. Harper Williams, a 6'7" junior center, he anchors the Minutemen's relatively smallish front line, while the Wildcats are led by Jamal Mashburn, a 6'8" sophomore forward out of New York City, who averaged 21 points and 8 rebounds a game. When that game is over, we'll get you out to the finish of Florida State and Indiana in Albuquerque. That game is scheduled to tip off in about a half an hour. I want to update you, everybody, now on the Charlie Ward status. The sophomore guard will not start, but he will dress and could see limited action in a Willis Reed type of inspirational role. Ward suffered a separated left shoulder 1 week ago in first-round play against Montana. Freshman Bob Sura will start for Ward. Later tonight at approximately 10 Eastern time, we're going to be here all night. Our second games will start with Seton Hall against top-seeded Duke in the second East Regional semifinal. And where else but in the city of brotherly love will you see Bobby and Danny Hurley battle each other. And then about 10:30 Eastern time, some of you will see New Mexico State challenge UCLA, the top seed out west. What about the Indiana game, Indiana-Florida State? Good matchup?
I think a good matchup. I think Ward, if he can give him anything, will help the Seminoles. Their athleticism against Indiana's shooting ability. And, Raph, I thought over the weekend that Indiana finally got out of its shooting slump a little bit and started to play a little bit like they had in the middle of the season.
Maybe the whip is working, huh? I think they're running their screens a little bit better, and I think Bobby off the floor, those psychological ploys have had their impact.
You think he's confident right now?
I don't think he's ever confident or sure, but I think they're playing much better defense, and I think their heads are in the game for a change. The last couple of weeks they were struggling.
Who do you like in that game? You're gonna pick. You don't want to pick a game tonight.
Oh, that's not my job. That's my.
We'll be back shortly as the road to the Final Four rolls on from the home of the from the home of the State of Liberty to the home of the Liberty Bell here on CBS. I'll get this right.
This commercial is for people who expect their Chevy to
You were a big up-tempo player, so I can tell you were the Pete Carroll kind of a performer. I think it's the rebounding. The key is who can rebound, and I think the concern for Calipari is if they don't offensive rebound, they're going to leave the backcourt bare, and all of a sudden, Kentucky can score.
Well, they're there. We'll all be here with you throughout the evening, but right now we start you out with UMass and Kentucky. Vern Lundquist, Len Elmore will have the call for you when the road to the Final Four continues here on CBS. Have a good night.
CBS Sports exclusive.
Spectrum in Philadelphia, and they are here for this East Regional semifinal. The Massachusetts Minutemen against the Kentucky Wildcats. Here is how they arrived in Philly. Massachusetts and Kentucky meet each other now. Later tonight, Duke takes on Seton Hall, and the winners advance to Saturday's regional final at 7 o'clock. Good evening, everybody. I'm Vern Lundquist, and welcome to the Spectrum's second meeting of the year between Kentucky and UMass. Back in December, when UMass won the Great Alaska Shootout, they stopped by Lexington en route home and they were thumped by the Wildcats 90-69. But both teams feel that they are respectively better for this rematch. There are a number of sub-themes going into this encounter, not the least of which involves the coaches, Rick Pitino and John Calipari. There is a physical resemblance, but more than that, Pitino, who graduated from UMass and is now the Kentucky coach, recommended Calipari for that job 4 years ago. I'm joined by Len Elmore, and Len, it seems that every year in the tournament, one team grabs the fancy of the country. This time around, it seems to be UMass, but they do have a formidable task tonight.
Well, they certainly do, and they have the expectation that a win here gives them national prominence. Now, there are only 2 division teams in the country that have 30 wins. One is Duke, and yes, the other is UMass, and no one knows it. John Calipari knows that a win today gives his team national prominence, and it also builds his program.
University of Kentucky had a program soiled by NCAA probation in the last couple of years. Rick Pitino came in 3 years ago. They have turned the program around, and amazed, I think, to find themselves in this spot this quickly.
Well, certainly he is, and he gives a lot of credit to Jamal Mashburn, his sophomore forward. He's a guy who was a high school All-American. He came to this program when they were down, and he's helped build it.
Now let's take a look at the lineups. Jamal Mashburn will start for Kentucky, and we'll bring you up to date on the others who will be on the floor to start the game. For UMass, Tony Barbie, Will Herndon, Harper Williams, Jim McCoy, and Antone Brown. And for Kentucky, Mashburn, John Pelfrey, Jamal Martinez, Richie Farmer, and Sean Woods. The officiating crew for tonight: Lenny Wirtz from Mount Healthy, Ohio, Jim Stupin from Cypress, California, and Tom Rucker from Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. The Minutemen from Amherst, Mass, 30-4. Automatic bid because they were the Atlantic 10 champions. They also won the tournament. And in the first round, they thumped Fordham. Then they outlasted Syracuse in overtime the other night. Kentucky playing in Worcester, 28-6 for the season. They won the SEC tournament by defeating Alabama. Then in the first round over Old Dominion and Iowa State. They are a 3-point shooting team. Mashburn gets some last-minute instruction, and we are underway. Antone Brown chases it down for UMass. They look inside for Harper Williams, but explore the perimeter instead. Barbie with the jumper. Short. Brown rebound. Short. Mashburn comes down with it for Kentucky.
A quick shot by Massachusetts right there. John Calipari told us he wants his team to be able to do it collectively, help each other to become better. Pelfrey for Kentucky. The way UMass has to help each other defensively is to step up and help, but offensively make the extra pass. Tried to find Harper Williams, and the foul is called inside. Rick Pitino, 3rd year on the staff, brought Providence into the Final Four in 1987. Now 39 years of age, and in 3 years this program has gone 14-14, 22-6, and now 28-6. And Rick Pitino will be the first one to tell you that he thought it was going to take 4 or 5 years before his team got to this place. And he gives Mashburn, as we mentioned before, a lot of credit because it was the domino effect. The high school All-American comes, one does, and then the rest start to follow. They do have an outstanding class coming in next year, too. It's a class that has already been ranked in the top 20 nationally. Pelfrey looks inside for Mashburn, who posts up. Nice move. He's got it off the glass. The last time these two teams played early in the year, UMass had come off of a grueling trip from Alaska. And they came into Rupp Arena in Kentucky, thoroughly blew them out. The biggest reason was they couldn't handle Jamal Mashburn. Herndon tosses it back out to Barbie. Now the entry pass into Williams. Turnaround jumper is short again. UMass hasn't scored. Martinez. Nice backdoor cut by Sean Woods. Excellent movement without the ball. Again, UMass is going to have to help defensively. Time has been called by UMass. They trail by 6.
Customers demand high quality and low price. They don't want a trade-off. They want it all.
The coast of Miami. He wished the Minutemen to play well, play your game, and know that the event you're playing in is not bigger than you are. Bill Cosby, of course, has a doctorate from UMass. Pretty impressive alumni association, Vern.
Leslie, he needs to dock the yacht and get up here. They need help.
Yeah, he sent that telegram and said, think of me sipping a cool drink and watching you guys sweat.
Bill, hurry home. That turnover gives Kentucky the ball and a 6-0 lead. 18-10 to go. Underneath, Sean Woods goaltending.
Well, we talked about John Calipari's strategy for his team. That was to help each other defensively, to be able to communicate, maybe switch out and step out. They haven't been able to do that. A lot of high picks, and Kentucky cutters to the basket unmolested.
Underneath at the other end, this is Lou Rowe, who came in during the timeout. Fine sixth man, and at last Jim McCoy hits, and the drought ends for UMass.
And that's an example of what UMass wants to do, make the extra pass. Rowe had a shot, could have forced it, but he waited until somebody got open. Good patience.
8-2, Kentucky leads. Martinez looks for Mashburn. The ball denied by Harper Williams, but they got him for reaching over the top.
Well, you can see Kentucky in their game plan offensively. They're trying to change up enough. They know they have to go to Jamal Mashburn, get him established because he's the key, but they're also using him as a decoy, pulling him up high and sending cutters off him, and they've been getting open layups.
Kentucky hasn't missed yet. Woods looks inside for Mashburn. It's Harper Williams with help on Mashburn down low. That pass intercepted, taken away by McCoy. And here comes Antone Brown for the Minutemen of Massachusetts. 8-2 ball game. Underneath, Harper Williams got two.
Much better patience by UMass. I guess scoring a basket kind of settled them down a little bit, and they're now starting to try to affect their game plan.
We were talking with Calipari last night, Len. He said he thought they would go to a low post game just like this instead of using that perimeter shooting.
Well, certainly Jamal Mashburn, the last time these teams played, it was a 90-69 game, and Mashburn had his way, scoring over 20 points. And that was an example of how strong he is inside, being able to push off the defender and catch the ball at the same time. And once he does that 2 feet from the hole, there's not anybody on UMass that can do anything but go for a ride.
He'll shoot two, 70% free throw shooter for the season.
You know, we talked about the domino effect, but Rick Pitino got an added boost by being the coach of the New York Knickerbockers, and Jamal Mashburn said when he went to Kentucky, I want to play for the coach of the Knicks.
Yeah, it wasn't so much the Kentucky program as it was Pitino, according to Pitino. That ball nearly thrown away, tracked down by Lou Rowe. McCoy, nope. Rebound Williams, shoved from behind. This time they got Jamal Mashburn with a push-off.
We talked about Kentucky wanting to get the ball inside. They've gotten it into Mashburn, used him as a decoy, sent cutters off him, who go in unmolested.
Non-shooting foul, so UMass inbounds. Kick it back out, try for three from Brown, got it. Nice return pass.
That's great inside-outside play, and that's what makes their team better. They're good, UMass, individually, but collectively they can be on the verge of greatness if they move the ball.
And again, the first option inside to Mashburn. He gets two more. Harper Williams cannot handle him one-on-one. McCoy has it. Pressure applied by Kentucky. Martinez down on Will Herndon. Look at Herndon at 6'3", 240, bringing the ball up.
See, Herndon for UMass is one of those guys who defies categories. you know, at 6'3", is a great rebounder. He handles the ball.
McCoy rims out. 12-7 ball game. Martinez to Pelfrey.
Watch the defense pointing towards Mashburn and really taking an eye off the rest of the Kentucky players.
Ball stolen by Anton Brown, and UMass has it. 15:30 to go, first half. 5-point Kentucky lead. Traveling.
We talked about the strength of Jamal Mashburn, and here he is using a nice job with his body. Gets away with a little push. But inside, really, nobody can do anything but watch him.
Substitution now. Dale Brown, number 31, comes in for Kentucky. So also does Darren Feldhaus. So it's Feldhaus, Sean Woods, Mashburn, Brown, and Martinez. Mashburn got 2 more. Wow. He's got 8 points.
You're not supposed to be that big with that soft a touch.
Kentucky is perfect from the field, 6 of 6. Barbie for 3. Well, it was the Kentucky three-point barrage we had expected to see, but it has been UMass with the threes that have kept it close until that one from Mashburn. Inside, inside, inside 4 times and then go out for the 3.
That's what makes him so tough, his versatility. In game number 2, we're going to see a guy similar, Kristen Leitner.
17-10, foul is called on Martinez. 3rd team foul. Look at this, 7 of 7 for Kentucky.
I can tell you, though, they're up 17-10, but playing a perfect game offensively and being up only 7 has got to give UMass a little bit of confidence, and now they're starting to hit the outside shots.
Derek Kellogg comes into the game now, replacing Anton Brown. Derek Kellogg, number 14. And Aminu Timberlake is in the lineup for Kentucky, number 25. Travis Ford has also come in for Kentucky. Here's McCoy off balance. Lou Rowe, 12 of 14 in the tournament. Now 12 of 15. And there is no foul called. Travis Ford across the timeline. For 3, Feldhaus. Got it. Now the barrage starts. And the lead is 10. Eight of 8 from the field for Kentucky.
And John Calipari doesn't want his guys to look up at the scoreboard right now, just to play their game.
Timberlake fouls Rowe as he goes up for the shot. He'll shoot a couple.
See, if UMass starts to look at the scoreboard, they're going to get anxious. And their game right now against Kentucky has to be a little more patient, to make the extra pass, to find the open man once Kentucky starts scrambling defensively. On the defensive end, though, UMass, they can make some stops. And if they do that, they'll be back in this basketball game. But if they look at the scoreboard, you know, they're going to probably lose it.
Lou Rowe goes to the free throw line. Freshman from Atlantic City, New Jersey. Will Herndon back in the lineup after a brief rest. Tennessee leading Western Kentucky in the women's tournament, and Rowe shoots one more. One of 2. And Harper Williams is going to enter the game now for Lou Rowe. So let's check that UMass lineup. Herndon is back in, so is Williams, Barbie, Derek Kellogg, number 14, and Jim McCoy. And for Kentucky, it's Travis Ford at the point, Feldhaus. This is Pelfrey with the ball, Timberlake, and Dale Brown as Jamal Mashburn gets a rest. Pelfrey. First miss, but the follow goes. Feldhaus.
Well, if Kentucky has a weakness on offense, it's rebounding. And Feldhaus does a nice job of getting to the spot.
11-point deficit. Barbie almost lost it. McCoy, short. Kentucky. Brown with the spin move, drives, puts it up, got it.
One-on-one, UMass is not going to get it done. They have to help somebody. They have to step up the penetration. Well, Rick Pitino certainly was worried about his team rebounding. He wanted people to make an effort to crash. And Feldhaus, a nice jump shooter, decides he's going to stick his nose in there and does a great job.
Edge in rebounding and shooting right now, and they're up 24-11. And just before we went to the replay, you may have read Calipari's lips. That's off the mark. Rebound comes down to Timberlake. Calipari urging his team with some rather colorful language to pass the ball.
And he wants them to pass the ball because it's the extra pass on the scrambling Kentucky D that will work and find the open man.
Pelfrey got under the basket, hit the bottom of the rim, and now a foul is called on Timberlake. That's 2 quick ones on him.
I tell you, offensively, UMass has been getting wide open jump shots. Frankly, I think that they're a little bit in awe of being where they are right now. They're shooting very short, and that means they're thinking about what they're doing. They're just not letting it fly.
Is that a surmountable problem? Can they overcome that?
They can, and John Calipari is trying to shuttle in enough players to give his starters some perspective from the bench to see that, hey, this is a basketball game. You've played games before. Now get out there and put forth the effort and forget about the rest of the stuff.
That foul called on Pelfrey. That's his first. That's a 16 foul.
That's exactly what he was telling his guys just then. Play ball.
24-11, 12 minutes to go, first half. Seton Hall Duke coming up here in game 2. The winners meet Saturday. Blue row, and again the shot altered by Jamal Mashburn. Here comes Kentucky. Sean Woods back in the game. Underneath to Martinez, and Martinez went down hard.
Yeah. Lay there, easy, bigger. Just lay still. Lay there, just don't move. Just lay there. All right.
Massachusetts fouls on number 22, Tony Barbie. That's his first personal foul.
While they tend to Jamil Martinez, time has been called. 11:45 to go, first half.
You can ski a live volcano.
Philadelphia 24-11 as Kentucky has hit 77% of his shots. Jamil Martinez left the game, but he did walk off by himself. Appears to be all right. Here's Darren Feldhaus. Sean Woods is fouled and will shoot 2.
And Vern, the story of this game is that Kentucky's been able to do what they want when they want by good execution, getting the ball inside to Jamal Mashburn. But more importantly, UMass has come out here tight. There's no two ways about it. You can see it in their jump shooting. They don't follow through. They're not letting it fly. And it's affecting their defense as well. Guys are standing up rather than getting down in defensive position, and they're not talking to each other. I think right now they're still in awe of being where they are today.
First tournament appearance for UMass in 30 years. Last time they were in was 1962. There's Jamil Martinez. Seems to be okay. That 62 UMass team, by the way, lost in the first round to New York University. a team that had a guy named Happy Hairston in the lineup. Played in the NBA for years and years. 26-11. Nice pass to Rowe, but Pelfrey knocks it away, and it's another turnover. That's 4 on UMass. Woods by Brown with the adjusted shot. Winner of this game gets either Duke or Seton Hall on Saturday at 7 o'clock. Duke and Seton Hall scheduled to tip around 10 o'clock Eastern time later tonight. Here's Antone Brown. Gets by Pelfrey. Doesn't have the numbers. Comes back to Harper. Oh, nice move.
That's what UMass needs. They need someone who's going to step up by example offensively, start becoming more aggressive, throwing caution to the wind, so to speak, when you shoot the ball.
The official word from the Kentucky bench on Martinez is bruised lower back, but he should be able to return. Farmer, nice cut. The pride of Clay County, Kentucky, gets the basket. And it's 30-13. Ball is knocked out of bounds by Sean Woods. It'll be UMass to inbound. Foul is called on Farmer. 7th team foul.
Take a look at this play right here. It's the guy who's guarding the picker that's got to step out and slow the cutter down just a bit. Otherwise, your man gets rubbed off and you walk in for layups. Kentucky's done that all evening.
Tony Barbie back in now. And Jerome Malloy gets a rest, number 24. There's Malloy, the freshman from Waterbury, Connecticut. 1-1. Jim McCoy gets the first. It was McCoy who had 24 points in the overtime win over Syracuse last weekend. UMass's victory.
See, this is where it begins for UMass. They've got to be able to stop Kentucky several times in succession if they're going to get back into this game.
Pelfrey spots up to the 3, and Barbie comes out to defend him. And then a good move by McCoy, but Brown can't hang on to it. Finally does control it. Then loses it again. Sloppy. All the way around.
You know, mentally, you have to be in this game, even if you are behind 15 points. It's too much time left to give up.
Just an absence of concentration from UMass on that last possession after denying Kentucky the ball. Here's Pelfrey. Got it. They are 13 of 16 from the field. Kentucky.
See, what's happening now is what John Calipari didn't want to happen. His team is reduced defensively to playing Kentucky one-on-one. And if that's going to happen, Kentucky's going to blow you away.
Nice move by Barbie, but the ball is stripped by Mashburn. He, however, is on the line. And it will be UMass to inbound. Martinez getting ready to check back in now for Kentucky, and he'll take the place of John Pelfrey. Harper Williams, short. Rebound, Richie Farmer. Rebound after Mashburn's miss. Kentucky. Feldhaus. A rare miss. Brown to Herndon. And Will Herndon will shoot 2.
you have to really bring the ball up with some type of plan in mind. And Brown did a nice job that time of recognizing who he had on the baseline. Herndon, a great baseline player, an excellent leaper. And Brown did a nice job of setting him up. There's got to be more play like that, playing with each other for UMass. You know, that's the way they're going to get back offensively. And as I mentioned before, defensively, they're just going to have to help each other out. You're going to have to see a little more double teaming, a little more gambling, because right now they're reduced to playing one-on-one, and they just cannot handle the back picks and the cuts by the Kentucky players.
Not much is going well for UMass.
But I tell you, if they get back and they communicate, they step out on the picks, they double-team Mashburn. Kentucky hasn't really had to go outside and shoot their threes yet. You're going to have to test them now. You double-team, take away the easy stuff, and make Kentucky work.
Now thinking back to a week ago, here's Pelfrey for three. Yes, sir.
Well, so much for that theory.
35-16 with 8:28 to go in the first half.
So far, though, they've come up empty. Either way you look at it.
Last week, you and I had Miami of Ohio against North Carolina, and Joby Wright said they cannot play the program. They can't look at the names on the jerseys. And you get a sense that maybe UMass did that here.
Well, not only that, but we talked about the national prominence that would result from a big win here today. And these guys recognize that maybe they're carrying a program on their backs, particularly in a game like this.
And then with shots like that, but it does not count. Sean Woods is called for the offensive foul, and the basket will not go, but it was still amazing.
And see, when you're up by as many points as Kentucky is up, you can afford to take shots like that.
Time has been called.
A tradition unlike any other, the Masters on CBS.
Stopping Jamal Mashburn. Now Mashburn, who grew up in the Bronx, his father had been a heavyweight boxer, was the first impact recruit for Rick Pitino. In fact, he knew nothing of the tradition of Kentucky, the 5 titles. He said he wanted to go there to play for the former Knicks coach. Vern?
And the play he is doing, because his team is up by 19, and there is another turnover for UMass, man.
Well, if you're this guy, John Calipari, this is your worst nightmare. You know, you get to the big dance, you have a chance to go out with one of the nicest looking girls, and she turns you down. And you got to walk all the way back across the room. That's happening right here, that feeling of dejection.
37-16. McCoy alters the shot, gets it to go.
But the other part of it for the UMass offense is that they have a bunch of guys who are not particularly shooters, but scorers, and it takes them a while to get heated up. That's the saving grace of all of this. They have the defense and the offensive power to get back into this basketball game, but it's defense first and offense next.
At the break, UMass had hit 5 of 18, and at the other end of the court, Kentucky, 14 of 19. There's a foul called on UMass. Anton Brown, that's his second.
I don't know I don't know how you can play behind Jamal Mashburn right there. You just can't do that. The guy is killing you.
13 points and 2 rebounds, and that's with 6:59 remaining in the first half. Right now, let's go back to New York and Pat O'Brien.
All right, Vern, thank you very much. Going to keep our eyes on the game you're watching there, UMass and Kentucky. We're underway in both sides of the country now. Out west, Florida State and Indiana. Indiana in white, The score there 9-4. Mike Francesa, Bill Raftery with me. Mike, what's wrong with the Hoosiers early on?
Indiana opened up 1 of 5 from the floor, just hit a basket there to make it 9-4. Pat turned it over 4 times, had trouble, Raf, with that Florida State zone. But remember last year, they got off to a terrible start in that second-round game against Florida State and then blew them out 82-60.
Well, the 1-3-1 zone, it eliminates those problems of handling those screens, and you get a lot of them from Bobby Knight's club. Also, I think Florida State with Dobar and Edwards can establish something down low.
Their athleticism is a real key, Pat, against Indiana.
And UMass and Kentucky 37-20 now. Speaking of turnovers, how about this game?
UMass has been sloppy with the basketball, as you see a Kentucky turnover there. And Raf, the inside scoring. Calipari told both of us that he was going to play Kentucky man-to-man inside, and they have really killed him inside. 20 first-half points inside, and that was just the 7th turnover for UMass.
Can't play Mashburn with one guy, Michael, and I think all year long they've been paying attention to the post guy, getting people to double up, and occasionally the top guy coming down to add 3 on a guy like Mashburn. I think they're going to have to do that.
UMass has to keep its composure, Pat, right now in this ballgame.
A trio of basketball fans here in New York City watching the games for you. Let's send you back to our duo now in Philadelphia, Vern.
All right, Patrick. And another basket for Kentucky makes it a 39-20 score. Antone Brown for 2. Gets a deuce for UMass.
Well, Kentucky's score came off of a UMass turnover, and that turnover was caused by not moving the ball. Kentucky just keeps coming at you, coming at you.
And there's the emotional leader of the Wildcat bunch, one of 4 seniors, John Pelfrey. The basket counts.
When we talk about coming at you, this is a view that the UMass defenders have had all evening. White shirts coming at you, attacking the basket. And there doesn't seem to be a thing they can do about it.
Foul was called on Harper Williams, his 2nd, and Pelfrey gets a free throw. Let's check the quintet on the floor now. Travis Ford, Dale Brown, Pelfrey, Feldhouse, Riddick is also on the floor for Kentucky. 3-point play for John Pelfrey, a 20-point edge now at 42-22. Herndon got it.
It's important for UMass to understand right now with about 5:35 left in the first half. They're not going to get it all back at once. You want to be able to cut into this lead, take off maybe 8 before halftime, and come back with renewed confidence.
Well, that doesn't help any, does it?
I'm tired of trying to figure this thing out just to have the Kentucky guys blow it to bits.
Andre Riddick with that stuff. Wild elbows are flying, and the foul is called on Pelfrey.
I mentioned that it begins with defense, and that includes blocking out off the board. And UMass closes in rather nicely against the shooter, but nobody touches Riddick. You got to put a body on these guys. You have to have single-mindedness of purpose if you're UMass, and that is to clear every Kentucky guy off the board.
Well, remember John Calipari saying, I don't think they're going to rely on the tray. I think they're going to try and hurt us inside. Look what they're doing.
Well, you know, that's the worst part about it, that you know what they're going to do, and there's nothing you can do about it so far.
44-25. This is Lou Rowe, the freshman from Atlantic City, at the line. Got them both. The lead is 18. Forward looks inside. They've now got Lou Rowe guarding Mashburn. So he goes outside.
And handles behind his back.
Exactly.
Like a guard.
Mashburn prowls the baseline. Riddick blocked, but it goes right into the hands of Travis Ford. Now chased down. Well, that may be one of the better defensive sequences for UMass in the first half.
And certainly an emotional boost. What they have to do right now when you have good plays like that is to connect, get the crowd into the game.
Lou Rowe goes by Riddick and is fouled, so he will get to shoot a couple.
I like the way UMass played that sequence once they got possession of the ball, they didn't come down, they didn't rush, they didn't establish anxiety. We'll take a look here. Good defense and a good way to close out on the shooter and end it with a block. The only problem is that you want to get possession. Herndon wanted to grab that ball. They finally did get possession.
Lou Rowe goes to the line. He'll shoot a couple. Andre Riddick is out of the lineup now. It's Brown, Ford, Feldhaus, Mashburn, and Dale Brown. Junior Brady has come in, number 23. (44-28) with 4:20 to go, first half.
See, once UMass shows that they have a little effort as John Calipari jumps up and down on the sidelines, a little effort gets the crowd back in the ball game.
Well, they had Herndon fronting Mashburn that time and Rowe coming from behind with the help. 3. (44-31). Ford with the dribble penetration. Kicks it back to Brown. Short. 2-on-1. Foul on Kentucky.
See, what UMass is doing right now defensively is that they're sustaining the defense. They're not gambling. When penetration goes, they do what they're supposed to and sag. The ball goes back outside is where they want it, and they take their chances with the three-point shot. Then they clear people off the board and get on the offense. It's something they probably should have been doing from the beginning of the game, but it's not too late. And as I said, you shave some points off by halftime, get your confidence going, and take your chances in the second half.
Well, they have cut a 20-point lead down to 12. So they have picked up the 8 points you mentioned.
A lot quicker than I thought.
Yes. Well, a couple steals and 3 points will do it for you. Antone Brown, 72% free throw shooter for the season. Has the most. The lead was 20. It's now 11. Meet each other on the basketball court. There's still a potential for an all-ACC Final Four, and UMass is the only team in the Sweet 16 for the first time. They had problems falling behind by 20. They now trail by 11.
What Kentucky is doing right now is going to try to wear UMass down, really run their patterns, sharpen their cuts, and get it into the big guy.
And they did. Mashburn, 2 more. He's got 15.
So UMass has made up the ground that they should have. Now it's important for them to try to stay close, maybe make up another 2 points, but not to rush, to make mistakes and allow Kentucky to stretch the lead.
Alley-oop. Herndon. And up in the stands, the greatest player in UMass history. Had a few good games on this floor, didn't he? Julius Erving.
Might have been one of the best alley-oopsters ever also.
I'd still take him in any slam dunk contest. I don't care how old he is. Mashburn. Well, maybe not any. UMass has hit its last 6 shots. 48-35, under 2 minutes to go. Here's Barbie. Make it 7. (48-37), 1:42 before halftime. Indiana has come back on Florida State. Farmer. Barbie with the rebound. And a chance now to cut the lead to a single digit. McCoy, 2.
See, Kentucky with the pressure's backfired. They didn't want UMass to be patient, as I mentioned, and look for their shots. They tried to rush them, and UMass has now picked up the pace, and now that they're hitting, the points are coming fast and furious.
Mashburn can quiet this group. He does not. Rebound UMass. The Minutemen are on a 15-4 run. They've cut at a 20-point lead down to 9.
Okay, here you're not in transition. You're against a set defense. Now's the time to be patient for good shots.
Like you said. Air ball. Brady got it. Junior Brady, the junior from Jacksonville, Florida. Final 32 seconds. Seconds left on the shot clock. Nope. UMass has to hustle back in transition. Mashburn can't hang on. Ford threw it away. Well, coming up at the conclusion of our game, and every NCAA tournament game will select the Chevrolet players of the game. In conjunction with that award, Chevy donates $1,000 to the General Scholarship Fund of both schools. That James Forrest. Jim McCoy. You tell me how many feet.
I'll tell you, first of all, patience. That's a 70-foot shot. Right on the money, all net. You don't think he's going to have to give his team a talk going in? I don't think John Calipari is going to have to say a word to his team about the second half.
Well, they're going to measure at 66 feet, whoever does that sort of thing. That's the end of the first half with our score: Kentucky 50, UMass 42. CBS Sports exclusive coverage of the NCAA Basketball Championship continues after this message and a word from your local station.
CBS Sports exclusive coverage of the
this one. Well, I mean, absolutely nothing to it.
You talk about a momentum builder, too. The UMass guys are walking 3 feet on air.
Right now, let's go down to Leslie Visser.
Vern, the UMass coaching staff felt that the Minutemen weren't getting to the loose balls or the boards fast enough, and that because Jamal Mashburn is killing them inside, they may go back to that matchup zone in the second half. They may also switch and put Herndon on him in the second half. John Calipari was cool, though. He stopped outside the locker room to say hello to Grant Hill and wish the Duke star luck. Vern?
Well, if he was cool, that belies what he's been doing on the bench. They did. That's a major move, though, to get back within 8.
Certainly is, and going into the locker room, the operative word is amnesia. Forget about what happened in the first half. You've got the momentum going. Let's go out there and play basketball the way we know how.
Inside scoring, Leslie referred to that, and Jamal Mashburn has really been a force.
Well, certainly in the first 13 minutes of the game, Mashburn scored 11 of the first 20. But after that, he's only scored 4 points. UMass doing a better job of closing him off, making someone else beat them.
John Pelfrey opens with Farmer, Woods, Mashburn, and Martinez for Kentucky. Here's Pelfrey, 3-pointer, too long. Chased down by Tony Barbie. Scoop shot, foul is called on Kentucky.
And right away from the first offensive set for UMass, they're much more aggressive, not settling for jump shots, trying to attack the basket and force Kentucky to play defense.
Rick Pitino goes to his bench in a hurry. That's the 3rd foul on Martinez, so he's out. And Darren Feldhaus comes into the lineup. Harper Williams will go to the line and shoot 2. This could get them to within 6 points. It would be as close as they have been since it was 6-0. As Kentucky hit its first 9 shots of the ball game and 14 of its first 19.
Well, what Rick Pitino has done by putting Feldhaus back in the ball game, he's set up another long-range shooter that's going to maybe spread around the perimeter, and that's going to let Mashburn have a little more room to work with inside the post area, because UMass is going to have to make a decision to play the shooters or to play Mashburn.
Harper Williams gets away with a shove as he had Mashburn on the floor, then gets the rebound.
That's the best way to play defense against Mashburn.
Offensive foul. That's 3 on Williams.
Well, here you have to be under control now. You got the momentum going. You have to make smart plays. Williams, not all that nifty in trying to make the play. Couldn't avoid the charge. He's got to be under control.
Calipari goes to his bench. Lou Rowe will replace Harper Williams. So 2 men on the bench with 3 fouls now. Martinez for Kentucky and Williams for UMass.
And certainly without Williams in the ball game, UMass has got to be able to give help to Lou Rowe inside.
3-second call on Mashburn.
Well, you know, Mashburn, as a sophomore, he's got to maintain his poise, not get frustrated, and focus on the fact that he has to move.
Herndon couldn't get the ball inbounded. 5 seconds about to expire, so he calls timeout. 1 minute elapsed in the second half. The lead is 6.
Okay, now let's meet the stars of the other game in town. The Oldsmobile Drive to the Final Four Cellathon.
What's your assessment, Julius Irving, of the game so far?
Well, you know, this could have been a 20-point game at halftime. It was an 8-point game. I think our team has a very, very good chance.
Tell us about Rick Pitino. He was a freshman when you were a junior. Was he a better coach than player?
See, I have divided loyalties here because Rick was a classmate of mine. Even though we didn't play together, You know, I guess I'm going to win either way tonight.
Well, I think they both like to have.
I have on. I'm pulling for UMass.
I think they both like to have you on the bench, Vern.
All right, Dr. J, it's a pleasure to see you again.
And Julius never rode the bench.
That's right. Here's Pelfrey at the other end. And it's back to a 6-point game. It was McCoy for UMass and Pelfrey for Kentucky. 52-46 with 18-12 to go. Patino was talking about those years at UMass. That was when the NCAA tournament was a 24-team field. Here's Herndon. And he said they'd win 20 games or so in a year, but they kept losing to Providence. And they never could get into the NCAA field. Feldhaus, Farmer, Woods, Pelfrey, and Mashburn for Kentucky. The lead was 20. It's now 6. Make it 8.
Right now, both teams trading baskets. Defensively, UMass has settled down and started to play people honestly rather than gamble.
Brown and Barbie with Herndon, Lou Rowe, who's playing the low post position, and McCoy. McCoy, who hit that 70-foot three-pointer just before halftime.
And this is the patience I was talking about. Make Kentucky play someone. Don't bail them out with a quick jump shot.
Foul is on Pelfrey. Martinez comes back in. Pelfrey goes out. That's 3 fouls on John Pelfrey, so he'll get a rest. And Martinez, who is playing with 3, comes back in the lineup.
Well, you know, that the loss of Pelfrey hurts Kentucky because they have one less ball handler, one less guy who can really recognize situations on the floor and exploit them.
Herndon. Martinez with a rebound. Feldhaus, no. Rowe in a battle. Mashburn takes it away.
Pure muscle. You know, you talk about muscle rebounds where you snatch it away from the opponent.
Traveling.
You know, it's so important to get good position inside, and Jamal Mashburn does a nice job. He just steps right to the front of the lip. And as I said, pure physical strength got him that score.
Mashburn has 19. The lead is back to 8. Harper Williams back in the lineup, comes over to help on Farmer, but Farmer puts it off the glass and in. At the other end, here's Barbie. Yes! Mashburn with a foul.
See, if you want to beat the press, if you get the ball in quickly enough after a score before the press can set up, you're going to have a lot of good things happen for you. And that was great recognition by the inbound passer to get it to Barbie, who beat the field down the floor. And a nice move to the basket and the foul.
Tony Barbie, a junior out of Indianapolis at the line. Chance for a three-point play, and it'll cut it to 58-51. No, sir. Rebound, up and in. Harper Williams. Lead is 6.
See, the UMass man-to-man defense right now has got Kentucky thinking about what they have to do, not like the first half where they flowed into their offense. They don't look comfortable right now. The other aspect of the UMass game that's vastly improved is their rebounding, and Harper Williams with that familiar yell.
Dale Brown has checked in for Kentucky, and at the other end, There was a turnover on the Wildcats. Their 10th of the ball game, 9 for UMass. 58-52, 15-20 to go in the ball game. Herndon brings it up. Guarded by Feldhaus, Dale Brown. Mashburn, Pelfrey's back in, and so is Sean Woods for the Wildcats. Welcome those of you who've been watching the game in Albuquerque. We have 15 minutes remaining in this encounter. Kentucky and UMass, and a foul is called on Dale Brown of Kentucky. This was a 44-24 Kentucky lead midway through the first half of play, but a late surge by UMass, including a 70-foot three-point shot at the buzzer, brought them to within 8 at the half, and the lead right now is 6.
Well, this is a game where UMass came out, and they were so tight. They were so in awe of where they were, they couldn't shoot straight. But they settled down, they played good defense, and they have slowed Jamal Mashburn, who had 17 points in the first half. They've slowed him down considerably, and they've gotten back in this ball game by defense.
Winner of this game gets either Duke or Seton Hall Saturday night at 7. Duke and Seton Hall coming up later tonight. This, the one region, the East, where the seeds followed form. 1, 2, 3, and 4 are here. The lead is down to 4.
And the UMass effort has also gotten this crowd back into the basketball game, who seems to be on their side.
Feldhaus blocked out of bounds. UMass. Saw Rick Pitino, the 39-year-old head coach, here at the other end as McCoy almost taken away by Sean Woods. And Pelfrey had a hand on it. Out of bounds, Derek Kellogg, who's in the lineup, seldom used sub. And that evens the turnovers at 10. Rick Pitino worried about his club's rebounding, and you saw the edge in this half. But here's Mashburn for 2.
And with Pelfrey back on the floor, as I said, he's a guy who recognizes situations and knows how to exploit them. A great pass from the top.
Here's 6'3", 240, a point guard. Will Herndon. Harper Williams off the mark. Lou Rowe with the putback. No, short, got the tip. (60-56). Court, Harper Williams, number 31 for UMass, playing with 3 fouls. So is John Pelfrey, the man with the ball right now, one of 4 Kentucky seniors. Here's another, Feldhaus underneath, threw it away.
As I mentioned, good movement without the ball by UMass. They're starting to play the basketball, the type of basketball that they've done all year, the type of basketball that got them 30 wins.
Barbie and Brown check back in now for UMass. Martinez comes back in for Kentucky. He guards the inbound pass, which comes to Harper Williams. Throw it away. And then Mashburn at the other side almost loses it. 60-56. Mashburn short. Foul on Kentucky, Feldhaus.
And we talked about Jamal Mashburn cannot lose his poise. He's been stopped this half, and he forced his shots. He's got to let the game come back to him, hope that his teammates begin to play with him.
What stopped him defensively? Has it been a defensive tactic?
Well, what stopped him is that UMass has made an effort now to shut him down and take their chances with the outside shot. And Kentucky, not very comfortable right now in moving the ball, hasn't been able to hit those shots with regularity.
That was Pelfrey with the Kentucky steal. UMass ball. Will Herndon comes back into the lineup. Pitino is more than just a tiny bit upset. Johnny Orr of Iowa State will be glad to know, though, that he hasn't been that far out of the coach's box tonight. Orr complaining about that in the regional last week.
And don't think people aren't watching either.
That's right. Entry pass knocked away by Pelfrey. That's 2 steals in the last 2 possessions. But he's in trouble. Gets it to Martinez. Finds Brown. Knocked away by Herndon. This has truly been an amazing UMass comeback, though. They were down by 20. They now trail by 4. A sellout crowd of 18,000 on hand at the Spectrum. Seton Hall and Duke coming up in the next game. Here is John Pelfrey. No. Held ball, possession arrow, UMass. Or a dead ball. I guess that's a held ball. It certainly is.
In my day, it would have been a jump ball.
Right. And again the pressure. Martinez. Herndon. Harper Williams. Herndon with the putback. The lead is down to 2. The Minutemen have cut 18 points off the margin. Alley-oop Woods from Martinez.
A little bit of what Kentucky did in the first half. Bring Mashburn up, make him a decoy. The line of defense focuses on him and forgets about the cutter.
Tony Barbie goes right by Martinez, kicks it back outside.
And as UMass backs it out, something they did not do in the first half, exhibit patience.
McCoy. No.
That was a forced shot, and McCoy was guilty of that in the first half when they were down 20.
Pelfrey for 3. Mashburn is fouled by Williams, and that's going to be crucial. That is 4 fouls on Harper Williams.
Well, it certainly is. Harper Williams, a great shot blocker. You know, he's the last line of defense for UMass when they spread their defenses and put on pressure.
He picks up his 4th with 11:35 to go. Between Kentucky and UMass, and with 4 fouls on the bench, Harper Williams.
Well, Harper Williams, as I mentioned, a great shot blocker, the leading rebounder on this team. That's one of the areas that Kentucky beat UMass in the first half, off the boards. Without him, they're going to have to doubly concentrate on blocking out and limiting Kentucky people opportunities on the offensive glass.
Kentucky, known for its outside shooting, has hit only 3 threes so far in the ballgame. They're 3 of 10. They continue to look inside for Mashburn, who's got Rowe guarding him now. Shot clock down to 13. There's Woods underneath. Short. Lou Rowe with the rebound.
Well, Pelfrey found Woods. You can't get him a better shot than that.
Division II quarterfinals from Springfield, Mass. The Division II championship game to be seen on CBS this coming Saturday afternoon. Anton Brown, here's Barbie. Back to Brown inside the line. That was good for 2, and the tip goes right to Dale Brown of Kentucky. Pelfrey. Martinez saved it.
It's good body control by Martinez and good recognition.
Tennessee, the defending champion, as you see, upset tonight by Western Kentucky in the women's Mid-East game. And Miami falls to Vanderbilt. Now here comes Jim McCoy, starts back in. Malloy will stay in, and Barbie will get the rest for John Calipari's team.
And if you're John Calipari, in that last time out, you got to tell your guys, hey, we took their best shot. Look at the way they're playing against you defensively. They're reeling.
Foul. And Mashburn will shoot 2.
You know, you want to be able to put them away, but you can't put them away if you're going to allow the penetration back into the paint and not seal off, particularly a guy like Jamal Mashburn.
Mashburn goes to the free throw line. Herndon picks up the foul, his first of the ball game.
He has 2 shots.
Five-point lead. Back to 6. Herndon guarded by Dale Brown. Here's Antone Brown with Woods on him.
Got to get this matchup here. Woods on Herndon. Herndon's strong and a great leaper. UMass didn't recognize it quick enough. Herndon's got to stay in the post and have some patience. Wait till they come to him.
Now the switch, and Martinez picks up Herndon. Shot clock down to 9. McCoy. Rebound Woods. Kentucky. Underneath Mashburn. Oh, what a dandy play.
I tell you, Mashburn used his body so well. When I talked about patience on the post, that was a perfect example. Never lost his position, just changed it.
66-58. Here's Herndon going all the way and fouled. He'll shoot a couple.
Take a look on the left-hand side of your screen. You got Woods with Herndon, who's extremely strong on the post. Nobody from UMass recognized the mismatch. A little too slow.
Substitutions now for Kentucky. Feldhaus and Ford and Farmer check back in. And they join Pelfrey and Mashburn. And Tony Barbie comes back in for UMass. Jerome Malloy sits down, and Will Herndon goes to the free throw line. Started his collegiate career at the University of Richmond, transferred, sat out from Pittsburgh. His dad, a policeman, suffered serious injuries in an automobile crash and had to have his legs amputated. His dad, wheelchair bound now. But watching the young man who is known in Pittsburgh as the man.
And in this tournament, he's been playing like a man. 88% field goal percentage for the first 3 games.
66-60. Ford. Derek Kellogg back in to guard him. Pelfrey, the double team. Herndon tries to get it. Can't. There's a clean steal. Kellogg comes up with it. It's a 3-on-3 break. Blue Row all the way, got it.
It's a good no call right there. No contact, and Rowe continued his attack in the basket.
Back to 4, 66-62. Mashburn, yes.
I'll tell you, man, that was a Humphrey Bogart move.
And how do you mean that?
He just gangsters his way inside on 3 guys, and you see bodies flying all over the place. He's just such a strong player with that added touch of finesse. It just makes him so tough inside the paint.
Don't forget, most of you will see Seton Hall versus Duke coming up next from here in Philadelphia. Others will watch New Mexico State against UCLA. On the missed free throw, here's UMass on the run from the corner. Foul after the shot on Mashburn.
I'll tell you what UMass has to focus on right now. I believe their guys are a bit tired, making that run in the second part of the first half and trying to continue to stay even with Kentucky in this half. They've expended a lot of energy. And at this point in time, you know, they're going to have to regroup, move the ball, rest a little bit offensively rather than take quick shots until they have enough energy to make that final push.
Jim McCoy lets a chance go by to cut into the lead. He misses the first of two. And UMass is not as deep a team as is Kentucky, acknowledged by both Calipari and Pitino. And they've got Harper Williams sitting on the bench with 4 fouls. He has been there for the past 4 minutes. But the lead is 5, 68-63.
A tradition unlike any other, the Masters on CBS.
It's jumping out to a 6-0 edge, and among those in attendance, the senator from Massachusetts, Ted Kennedy. He called John Calipari yesterday afternoon. Calipari was talking to Bob Huggins, the Cincinnati coach. His secretary said, Senator Kennedy is on the line. Calipari thought she was kidding. Kept him on hold for 4 minutes. Finally said, hello. Said, yes, John, this is Ted Kennedy. I'd like to come to the game tomorrow. Whoops. Well, he's here. Welcome all of you watching the game in Albuquerque. We have 6:7:14 remaining in this encounter. And the University of Massachusetts down by 20 midway through the first half. Fought back to within 8. Here is Woods for 3. No. Off of Blue Row. Chases down and saves it. The lead right now is 5. And here comes UMass. Will Herndon.
And I'll tell you, that timeout may have been the remedy for the fatigue UMass seemed to have suffered. It took them a lot of energy to cut into that lead, and they did it on the defensive end. Now they seem to have been re-energized.
Lead is 3. Pelfrey over Rowe. Got it. Harper Williams on the bench with 4 fouls, getting ready to come back in for UMass. Here's Herndon again. Back it goes to Barbie. Kicks it out. Brown. 3. Yes. Lead is 2. UMass has never led, and the game has not been tied. Pelfrey looks inside for Mashburn. They kick it back to Feldhaus. Battle for the loose ball. Pelfrey for Kentucky. Technical foul on John Calipari, called by Lenny Wirtz. Oh, man. Calipari jumped up and down. He didn't say anything that I could hear, but he's been jumping up and down like on a trampoline the whole game.
And he was doing that to urge his team to play defense. See, this is where I have a problem with the stepping out of the box rule, and Rick Pitino explained it. If you're out of the box and you're urging your team on, you're not on the officials, you're trying to get your team ready, I don't see the problem. And that's exactly what Calipari was doing, hopping up and down to tell his team to be active in the zone.
And Farmer gets to Kentucky, gets the ball.
You don't believe he's on the officials now?
Oh, wow.
Right in the top middle of your screen, he's jumping up and down to get his guys to move back on the zone.
I don't think there's any doubt that's what he had in mind. when he was reacting. He certainly wasn't criticizing any of the officials.
But you have to talk to the officials and understand that it is the rule.
That technical came with 5:47 remaining in the game. And now within 20 seconds, the lead is back to 6, and there's a save after the steal by Feldhaus.
And I tell you, that technical has served as a distraction for his team. They had been playing very sharply. That was the first mental error I've seen in a long time by UMass, and it couldn't have come at a worse time.
Backdoor cut, 2 more.
Mental error number 2.
And bingo from the technical to now 40 seconds, and it's an 8-point lead. Taken away. 15 turnovers on UMass. Well, when they talk about turning points in this ball game, circle 5:47 remaining in the encounter. Technical on Calipari.
And you know, it's a shame that the turning point has to be on a technical type of call rather than play on the floor. I talked about mental errors, and right here, Barbie just turns his head. He just turns his head and loses sight of his man. And it was after the technical, and you got to be sure that the guys on the floor defocused. They didn't concentrate on what was going on the floor and probably had thoughts of that technical in their minds.
Barbie picks up the 2nd foul of the game. Here's Mashburn. Williams guarding him with 4 fouls. Woods. Belfry gets a screen from Feldhaus. Tipped away, Feldhaus saves it. Still 17 on the shot clock. No basket. Welcome those of you watching the game in Albuquerque. 76-68 here with 3:51 remaining. UMass had shaved a 20-point margin, a deficit to within 2 at 70-68. When John Calipari, the head coach of UMass, was called for a technical. 5:47 remaining in the game. And from that point to now, the lead has been increased to 8. 3:51, time has been called. Mashburn shot away. Understand there are technical difficulties in Albuquerque. For those of you watching Indiana, Florida State, we'll get you back to that game as soon as those technical difficulties have been corrected. Here, Kentucky has the ball with Farmer, Pelfrey, Feldhaus, Mashburn, and Woods on the floor. One other thing to keep in mind is that UMass burned 2 timeouts because they couldn't inbound the ball. They have only 1 left. And we have confirmed now that Lenny Works called the technical on John Calipari because he was out of the coach's box. So a technical may have turned this ball game.
And as we mentioned, it was because Calipari was urging his team to play defense, not getting on the official.
Herndon knocks Mashburn's shot away. Herndon and Barbie and Brown and Harper Williams playing with 4 fouls. And McCoy. Here's McCoy. Has it knocked away. Gets it back. Puts it in. Jim McCoy has 18 points.
You know, this is where the defensive push has to come. This is where the gamble has to occur for UMass.
And Herndon gets called from behind. Let's go back to 5:47 remaining in the game when John Calipari was called for being out of the box. Len?
And remember, look at the top middle of your screen in the suit, jumping up and down, telling his team to move back, it seemed. Certainly that was not baiting the officials or anything of the like. And the official, Lenny Wirtz, completely opposite of the play, down in the right-hand corner of the screen, made the call. And as I mentioned before, that is a shame to have a game this close, have a team battle back, only to be stymied by a call that is technical in nature and not have any real bearing on what's happening on the floor.
UK hit 14 of its first 19 shots. Now at 58%, they get the free throws. The lead is back to 8, 2:37 remaining. And how ironic that Rick Pitino, who Johnny Orr said was out of the box all day last Sunday, this one goes Kentucky's way. Was the recipient, the beneficiary of that call on his protege, John Calipari.
And you know, you could just see UMass deflate after that call.
Loose ball, basket counts.
Take a look right here. Kentucky now able to get the ball back into the paint. They're able to run their back doors, do everything that got them the 20-point lead in the first half. And a lot of it is attributable to the lack of mental concentration, a lack of concentration by UMass.
Indiana up by 14, and all of you will see the end of that ball game when ours is concluded. Brown gets a free throw. The lead is 11. This one may be in the basket for Kentucky. At the other end, Herndon has something to say about that, though. But that merely cuts it to 9. 70-68 when a technical foul was called. Lenny Wirtz called it on John Calipari. Seton Hall versus Duke coming up here. Winner of this game gets the winner of that one on Saturday. And it appears it will be Kentucky. The Wildcats, hitting 14 of 19 shots in the first 11 minutes of the ball game, jumped out to a 20-point lead. UMass fought back to narrow it to 8 at the half, got within 2 in this half, and then the technical was called on Calipari with 5:47 remaining in the ball game. Mashburn. Since the technical, Kentucky 11-4.
And a lot of those points came from mental errors by UMass. Immediately after the technical, Barbie was run down from behind and the ball was stolen, never protected the ball. The next Kentucky possession, a backdoor play. That's the kind of stuff that happens when the defensive team or the ball handler's head is not in the basketball game. But I tell you, we talk about that being the turning point. If UMass is going to look at this game as a whole, they're going to have to recognize that the reason they lost this game is the first 13 minutes, where they could not shoot the ball, most probably because they were in awe of just being here. They were tight.
Well, after a while, they got over the idea of seeing Kentucky on those uniforms, but they really had a hill to overcome. Timeout is called. And it's an 83-74 ball game, 1:15 remaining.
Every sports sedan is supposed to do well in the fast lane. But what about these lanes? At Lexus, we've achieved extremely tight tolerances between all major body panels. So not only does the ES300 look like it's put together well, it actually is put together well.
You have to make the product fit the customer. If somebody says, I need that, then go into that business.
They say that toy collecting is the fastest growing hobby in the United States. We're working out of 3 locations just to meet the demand. We created the AT&T Custom Net plan specifically for businesses with multiple locations.
We've got toys from Hungary, Russia, China.
Custom Net plan combines all of their long-distance bills for the maximum discount.
If you know your customer well, you'll know success.
We can make a difference. AT&T. Call us.
Why did Hertz invent #1 Club Gold service? To beat the rush hour. See, every plane and everybody seems to land at once. But with Gold service, there are no counters and no paperwork. You go nonstop to your car with your name in lights. Hertz, #1 Club Gold. The best reason yet why Hertz beats the rush hour. Call Hertz today for low daily rates on Lincolns with free unlimited mileage.
Why did Hertz?
Woods. Farmer. And a foul in the backcourt is called on Malloy. Jerome Malloy, number 24. UMass out of timeouts now. 9 team fouls on Massachusetts, 7 for Kentucky, and the possession arrow in Kentucky's favor.
Well, we mentioned before, UMass not able to stop the clock any longer except with a foul. And that's because they wasted 2 timeouts and not being able to get the ball in against the pressure. And that's what I'm talking about when I say when they look at this game, the technical may have been the turning point, but they lost this basketball game in the first 13 minutes.
Winner here, it appears it'll be Kentucky, gets either Duke or Seton Hall. They play later tonight. And most of you will see that game from the Spectrum in Philly. Substitution now, Dale Brown comes in for Farmer for Kentucky. And it's a 10-point edge with 1:11 to go. Not to belabor the point, Len, but technically Lenny Wirtz was within the parameters for calling that technical foul, was he not?
Certainly was. That's the rule. The coach leaves the box, you make the call. But if there was ever a rule that begged discretionary enforcement, that is the rule. If it has no bearing on the game, if the coach is not baiting the official or creating a disturbance that takes away from the game, let it go. You do it with fouls on the floor where there are no calls. This should have been a no call.
And here we are at the end of what turned out to be a marvelous game, not talking about the athletes, but instead talking about the officials, in particular Lenny Wirtz, who made the call. 5 fouls on Harper Williams. He leads the game with 8 points. And Lenny Wirtz, one of the veterans who is working the NCAA tournament. He has been around for a long, long time. .86-74, final 50 seconds. Blocked by Mashburn. UMass ball. So UMass will wind up 30-5. They make the Sweet 16. They're in the tournament for the first time in 30 years. And for Kentucky, at least one more game. Traveling call on Fieldhouse. Rick Pitino's team with the Resurgence will meet either Seton Hall or Duke. They are playing next. Rick and his wife Joanne, by the way, expecting their 6th child in May. Basket counts. McCoy will go to the line. And for the Pitino family, 5 boys, they're going to have a girl.
And when Rick told us that, he lit up because he hadn't intended on having any others.
Indiana, Florida State with 9:35 remaining. And